So Tommy Sotomayor got sucker punched in the face. Sucker punch is one of the most common types of ambushes. Tommy, if you happen to watch this, I got one name to give you. Mark McYoung. Actually, two names. Peyton Quinn. These are two authors whose works go into how to handle the sucker punch. Now, if anybody is wondering what in the world this has to do with me or Taekwondo, the sucker punch is the reason why, one, starting at 5th degree and up, I'm having people do one-step sparring with the person standing behind them. Normally, when we do our one-step sparring, we square off because there was some kind of honor code. So now one person is going to have their back turned, and the other person is going to do the yell and stuff from the back. Okay, but let me get out of the technical aspects of it. Other than saying Tommy or anybody else who gets sucker punched, number one, you got to pay attention. Number two, there's usually somebody, they usually keep looking at you and trying to creep into your space when they shouldn't before they sucker punch you. So you got to have awareness. You got to control distance. Plus, he went into an area with people who didn't like him. So he was the only one of him. He was probably the only one of him who blatantly shares this type of views, even though they were all in the same ethnic group. So knowing what he says about people who are like the person that sucker punched him, in hindsight, we can definitely say he should be careful. But this was supposed to be a gathering of conscious people. That means these are supposed to be so-called Afrocentric black intellectuals. So that is not a place where I know I would expect violence. And now, thanks to this incident, I can tell you, I'm never going to an event like that again. Ever. I haven't been to one of those since I was about college age. And I'm definitely not going to go to one now. How can I tell my wife we should go to one of those events like we did when we were in college? How can I tell her that when it's possible that you could get punched in the face at an intellectual event? How bad does that make us look? It wasn't even like it was supposed to be an event where they were supposed to be, you know, quote unquote ratchet type people, quote unquote hood type people. No, this is supposed to be the intelligentsia of the community. And yet you got people who are the intelligentsia of the community. One of them getting mad and punching him in the face rather than defeating him on his ideas. Tommy has said some things that I don't like, I don't agree with. I'll leave a comment. If I really feel strong enough, I'll make a video. That's it. You know, if I really felt super raw about it, I suppose I could challenge him to a debate. But the point is, I wouldn't wait until he comes into my town and sucker punch him. That's ridiculous. And a lot of other YouTubers who've been commenting on this have made this very excellent point. It's a point that I don't like to make, but it's the truth. You don't sucker punch neo-Nazis. You don't sucker punch cops that are killing your brothers and sisters. You don't sucker punch the drug dealer. You don't sucker punch the strong-arm robber. You don't sucker punch the addict who's robbing people. You don't sucker punch the people who refuse to hire and love the fire. You know, you don't sucker punch people who snitch. And by snitching, I mean they're involved in the crime too, not just they're a citizen reporting a crime. You don't sucker punch any of those people, yet you're going to sucker punch somebody whose worst offense is talking on YouTube. Why? Why? Why would you do that? That is not mature. That is juvenile. That is juvenile. That is immature. Now, just to put a new spin on things, I'm going to say this. I think the reason why you have conscious intelligentsia types who still want to behave hood is because they don't feel like they have a warrior ethic. They feel like being their perception of hood, their perception of street. And I say their perception of hood, but their perception of street, because a lot of times the people I've known who actually are like, from the hood, they usually don't do anything violent without a reason. Even if the motivation is to rob someone, that is still a reason, a legitimate reason. Not, he said something online. No. 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 That's why it's called a sucker punch, because it's for suckers. Now, I probably might have to worry about getting sucker punched if I ever go to New York. Psych. I'm not going to put all that on New York. Just that particular type of crowd. Who, someone said it was a setup. It very well may have been a setup. This very well, too, could be a thing, a gimmick for money, just a PR stunt, but it could have been a setup. But either way, when people are trying to set you up, there's body language and cues that they give off. Only, I guess, trained assassins just come get you, kill you, and you just never know what happened. They have the scope at a distance and just shoot you and you're gone. You can't really do anything about that other than don't do anything that would get you assassinated. And that's usually involving illegal activity. So most regular people telegraph and give you an intention of what they're going to do. So I'm no longer going to any type of conscious event in New York. I can't with all the stuff that I talk. If all the stuff I talk about avoidance and avoiding violence, I can't go into some place I know is violent at this age. Not at this age. I'm old enough to know better. I can't do that at this age. And even if the only way I could forego that is if it has to do with work or place of business. Like, there was a place I was going to teach that was in a very dangerous area. I could have done it, but I decided not to, not because of the danger, but because I still wasn't at black belt yet. So I said, no, I'm not going to give this community substandard, unqualified martial arts education, even if it's me. Even if I know as much as a black belt. I know people are going to disagree. You never know as much as a black belt unless you're a black belt. No, I knew as much as a black belt. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to pass the test to become one. So, but I said, no, I'm not going to go there and just rank them up to blue or purple and never be able to promote them to black belt. I have to call somebody else in to promote a black belt and stuff. No, I'm not doing that. No. So unless it's for work or because like one of my relatives lives there, I can't go into a dangerous area. And I'm married. I've been married for decades now. I celebrated my anniversary. I can't take my wife to something like that. And like I said, me and my wife used to like to go to little reggae shows and stuff when they have in DC, when they had the jazz in the park stuff. We did that. Went to see reggae bands. Went to some, like a book signing, a poetry reading and stuff like that. I can't take her to that. Can't take her to that. She's going to find out the time he got sucker punched. If she doesn't hear me doing this video through the walls, she's going to find out the time Sotomayor got sucker punched. And then the first thing she's going to act like she don't remember if I bring it up or make a joke about it. But as soon as it comes time to go to one of those events, isn't that where what's his name got hit? I don't want to go to that. So, thank you, sucker puncher, for hurting business. And then you have the people who want to say that Tommy was a sucker for calling 911. This was another video I wanted to do. I'm just going to hint at it here. Sometimes in life, things happen that you need to let go. You should let go. You should let go of past offenses. Or if somebody did something to you, somebody insults you. The only things I don't think you should let go, even though you can, and even I have, but if it's a crime, an actual crime, like especially if it's like a felony, you don't need to necessarily let that go. That's something you need to report to law enforcement. Now, you can still choose to forgive, and I'm not going to be mad at you. But I'm not going to call you petty if you won't let go of a felony offense or some type of assault. Sucker punching somebody, I'm not sure if it's a felony or not, but either way, we know that's illegal. Come on. We know that's illegal. Okay, so what was I saying about the warrior ethic? Yes, I said that we don't have a warrior ethic, so we cling to a warped perception. Well, not we. They cling to a warped perception of the street, machismo, and there's also this undercurrent in American culture, period. You can see it in the Game of Thrones show with the way that they treat the let me not use that word, the overweight character who's taking care of that woman and her son on Game of Thrones. How they make him to be just like an intellectual wimp. That if somebody is smart, especially when they're young, that means that they are weak, effeminate. They're not a real man. And I'm sure that people who are supposed to be part of the intelligentsia may struggle with, do people see me as masculine? Do people see me as a real man? Because I'm marketing myself as an intellectual rather than a physical male. So let me claim my street cred and act streety so that I can still be manly, which means that I'm still going to handle violence like I'm in middle school. Or I want to stay true to the hood, so I'm still going to handle violence like I'm in middle school. You're not betraying who you are by maturing. You're helping who you are by maturing. And you're helping younger people that look at you and that look up to you by being mature. So that's all I've got to say. Sarcastically, thank you for ruining the image of the conscious community, which I'm not part of the conscious community. Obviously, I'm bald. I'm Christian. I don't wear dreadlocks. I'm not a vegan. I have friends of all races. But even some of my non-black friends have shown interest in some of the products put out by the conscious community, because some people like to learn about all different types of cultures. I got my first copy of J.A. Rogers' Sex and Race from a white guy. Why would they come? That's money. That's more money that could be coming into that arena. But why are they going to come if they're going to look at it like, well, they punched some black guy because they felt like the black guy doesn't agree with just because of something he said? They might punch me because of the color of my skin. I'm not going there. And can you blame them? Can you blame them? No. And martial artists, if you're watching this, it's not like we in the martial arts are completely free of sucker punch incidents. Because there's a very famous sucker punch incident that happened to, oh my goodness, what's his name? Count Dante got sucker punched. Way back in the day, Count Dante got sucker punched. He got sucker punched with brass knuckles. And now he has vision problems. He got sucker punched by another martial artist. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that may have been over money. But look up Count Dante. And you can look it up on YouTube. Start typing it. It might be sucker punch or it might be Count Dante assault or something like that, but you'll find it. But I will say, I will confidently say that this type of stuff is not as common in the martial arts community as it is in other areas. And I thought it was non-existent in the conscious community. Trust me, that's the last place where I think I would have to go and condition yellow. If you don't know what that is, that means low level of awareness to where you're looking around to see if there's any possible threats. That's the last place that I would think I would have to scan the room to see if anybody's going to bother me. So, the self-defense experts recommend you stay in yellow all the time. I guess they got a point, right? If Tommy Sotomayor can be sucker punched, Tommy, whether you agree with him or not, feels like he's helping the black community. And if he can get sucker punched by people who also feel like they're helping the black community, that's going to make a lot of people feel like, again, well, I'm not going to go in that environment. They might hit me. Right? Just like I said a few videos back when that one of my former co-workers wanted me to go play laser tag. God, I hope he doesn't see this. Well, if he sees it, he sees it. And the first thing I thought about was, oh, they murdered that couple down there. I'm not going down there. They murdered a couple. Now, the couple that was murdered was it was a lesbian couple, and I think they were both white. So that's not me, but I figured if they kill them, they'll definitely kill me. I ain't going. So that's pendulum. Both ways, swings both ways. So I'm done. I was going to completely go off on one particular person, but I'm still not. And the person I was going to go off on is not Tommy. And it's not Sotomayor. I was really going to go off because this particular YouTuber really thinks it's funny what happened to Tommy. And he should be ashamed of himself for thinking that it's funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not excusable. And Tommy should have called the police. Oh! Did anybody think that Tommy might be armed? I know Tommy has guns. That's another reason not to sucker punch somebody. If somebody gets hit once and then they out of habit pull out a gun and bang, and then somebody dies, would you necessarily be able to prosecute somebody that pulled out a gun and shot? That's one for the lawyers. Because I don't know. So, there's one thing that can give you a warrior ethic. If you need a warrior ethic really bad, it doesn't have to come from the street, and it comes with these codes and sets of conduct, and that's a martial art. So if you want to be big and bad, why won't you take a martial arts class, man? And it doesn't even have to be an Asian martial art. And in New York, I know you can definitely find non-Asian martial arts to study. Or you can find instructors that look like you and that have, that have dreadlocks and everything too. I know you can in New York City. You definitely can. But just in general, we're grown now. A lot of us, especially a lot of people that watch my channel, according to my demographics, are grown. We're grown now. Let's start acting like it. Let's use the Taekwondo tenet of courtesy. The judo tenet of mutual welfare and benefit, and the biblical tenet of people turn the other cheek. That doesn't mean Tommy should turn his cheek because somebody's punched him in it. It also means you shouldn't sucker punch him in the first place, because if you don't like what he says, let it slide and don't watch his videos. Okay? And if you don't like what I say, let it slide, don't watch the videos, or make a response video. See, I group my YouTube things that I watch by universe, whether I like them or not. I'm like Tommy, Tariq Nasheed, Sonetter, and those folks are in one universe. I got my Alex Jones, conspiracy dude, Fury. I actually put Vigilant Christian in another universe. I haven't quite decided where I put Girl Writes What. But I think she might just be in her own universe. What is her name? I can't. Well, no, I put her in the Tommy universe too. So, and I put all the martial arts people right now. I have them in one big universe, but two subset universes of, well, three subset universes of, like the straight up traditionals, your MMAs, and then your Mavericks. That's what I call it, your Mavericks. Like I would say Freddie Lee and martial arts tutor are mavericks because they're going on their own path. So I would put Grandmaster Art Mason traditional, but sort of a maverick too because he's still got his own thing that he's doing. So sometimes the universes, but still in the martial arts universe. So let's let it go. Let's not have any more sucker punching going on at conscious events. And again, like I said at the beginning of this video, if you stuck this long, if you're worried about sucker punching, Peyton Quinn, Mark McYoung, I also have a drill I do for sucker punching. If you want to learn my sucker punching drill, you have to sign up for one of my classes. Because I went over with them last week, long before I heard about the Tommy getting sucker punched. So I guess God was trying to tell me something because I felt like I had to go over it with him. So, Cecil Washington signing off. Maybe I will put my sucker punch drill into a video and sell it. All for the future. Peace.